Hello, good evening, and welcome to a very special limited run of Kult Downfall. I am your storyteller, Zachary Vaudo. We've got a very, very wonderful cast here tonight, my friends of Adjacent by Night, who you all know and love. We are presenting this module from the Screams and Whispers book of Kult. I'd like the players first to introduce themselves, and then we'll start things off. And we'll start with Steve.
Hi, everybody. I'm Steve. I am playing Alex, the twin.
Now on to Lex.
Hi, I'm Lex. I am playing Audrey, the X.
Over to Samantha.
Hi, I'm Samantha, and I'm playing Tori, the classmate.
And now to Patrick.
Hello, I'm Patrick, and I'm playing Cormac, the classmate.
And finally, to Brennan.
I am Brennan, and I'm playing Ozzy, the professor.
Kult is a game of dark intentions, dark actions, and dark experiences. This is a mature content story, more mature than you may typically expect from this crew. Things will get unsettling. Things will get perturbing. Please do pause at any point if you feel the need to. Over the course of this game, our players have the option to signal me in chat if they need to pause as well. You may seamlessly not notice this because of footage, but everybody's comfort level for this is important, especially yours, the viewer. This is for you to enjoy, as dark as it may be. That being said, are our players ready? Then I will introduce to you Kult Downfall. Atlanta is a patchwork city. Built by developers rather than civil engineers, it consists of numerous small sections that interweave together as more of an afterthought than an intentional flow. Because of this, each section of Atlanta is allowed to have its own motif, its own feel, its own groove, its own story. Such as the area around Georgia State University, situated near the Capitol building, down the street from historic underground Atlanta, a stone's throw from Oakland Cemetery, not too far from the stadium or Centennial Olympic Park. It's an area of its own patchwork history. And yet with all of this development, there are still spots of ruin, spots of old, spots of decay, hiding in the corners, lurking in the alleys, festering behind closed doors, or if you know where to look, in plain sight. This is the setting of our story, Georgia State University. This is the story of a man named Noah, a student at said university. Noah had what many would call a bright future ahead of him. He did well in school, he was beloved by his peers, but recently something began to change. Slowly, Noah began to fade, in a manner of speaking. He stopped doing so well in school. He stopped paying for his dorm. He fell out with his girlfriend. He dropped out of class after submitting one final assignment. He just went dark. And all of this came to a head roughly 1 week ago, when Noah's twin brother Alex stopped being able to reach him via text, all messages bouncing back. Getting on a flight, Alex steered himself towards Georgia State, putting out feelers in any way he could for those who may have seen Noah last. He found a handful, a couple of classmates, one of Noah's professors, and of course, his recent ex-girlfriend. They agreed to meet with Alex in the professor's office at Alex's plea, each with what pieces of information they have or could find in regards to Noah. And this is where we begin, with our cast of characters slowly assembling in Professor Ozymandias Jones's office. Professor, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're feeling about this impending meeting.
I'm a little bit concerned. You know, it's never good to lose track of a student. A little bit about me. I'm kind of the cool professor, you know, the one that sits at the front of the classroom with the chair turned around, really on the level with the students, maybe a little bit too on the level. So, you know, losing a student is kind of like losing a friend for me. So I'm trying to get everybody that I know together so that we can try and figure out what's going on.
how would you say? I mean, it's more than just losing a friend, isn't it? The circumstances behind Noah's disappearance, from what you knew of him, it's rather odd. It's rather out of nowhere.
It's not uncommon for a student to start off a semester strong and then maybe fall off, maybe get a little bit too much of a taste for the nightlife on campus, lose their way a little bit. I can't say that it's not something I haven't seen before, but this situation feels a little bit different to me.
There's something that gnaws at you a little bit about this in the back of your mind. It isn't unusual for students to go through a variety of personal experiences that might impact the trajectory, but for somebody as promising as Noah, somebody who really caught your interest by the end of things, it's a little jarring, and there's just something that nibbles at the back of your mind. Could you give me a roll of your 2 dice? Don't add anything, just roll.
It's 2d10s, right?
Yes.
8 and 8. 8.
That is 16 total.
Mm-hmm.
The gnawing is there, but as you said, it's not that uncommon. Hopefully, with more information from everybody that'll be joining you shortly, you'll be able to parse out a bit more reason, a bit more explanation to this. And they should be arriving shortly, one would hope. The first one to arrive is not a student of yours. Audrey, tell us a little bit about yourself as you arrive at this professor's office door.
So, Audrey has an uncomfortable appearance about her. She's dressed very well, but she seems rather skittish, shying away from touching anything too much, shying away from being touched. She looks like she hasn't slept in days and probably hasn't eaten in even longer.
It's been a rather difficult time lately, hasn't it?
Yes.
And I imagine what you're about to experience is not making things much easier for you.
No.
How does that make you feel?
Afraid, but determined. It is imperative for me to find Noah.
Could you also roll me 2d10 without adding anything?
That would be an 8.
Thank you. The skittishness, as much as you try to hide it, is very apparent. Thinking back to the most recent experiences that you had and going into this group, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be difficult. It's going to bring up memories that you wish would go away, but you know they can't. They're too fresh, and who knows if they would ever go away. But steeling yourself as best as you can, you reach your hand for the handle of the office door, turning it and opening it to see Professor Ozymandias Jones at his desk.
Am I in the right place?
Yeah, you're Audrey, right? The girlfriend?
Ex-girlfriend, but close enough.
Okay, sorry. Please have a seat. You're the first to arrive. Timely.
And Audrey has a seat, but it's clear that she can't get comfortable. She's crossing one leg, uncrossing it, crossing the other, fidgeting with her hair, picking at her nails, picking at her eyebrows.
Would you like something to eat, something to drink? I have coffee.
Oh, coffee would be so great.
Sure. And I'll stand up from my desk and I'll pour her a cup.
As Audrey and Professor Jones settle in, two more individuals are heading towards this office. Classmates and workmates, Cormac and Tori. Cormac, and then Tori, tell us a bit about yourself.
Cormac's actually not from Atlanta, if you couldn't tell by his accent. He's here on a foreign film program. He's a film student and managed to get his way onto a program here. Of course, Atlanta having the film industry that it does, and Georgia in particular having the film grants. Cormac at least planned on staying here initially after graduation, but Cormac's kind of gotten himself into a little bit of a work-life balance issue, and hasn't been attending class all that much, just enough to stay enrolled and not get kicked out of the program. Cormac has he started the academic year off looking like everyone else, but as the year progressed, his clothes got a little more flashier, a little more stylish. Satins replaced, the poly cotton for his dress shirts. And he's just kind of tagging along with Tori. It was them coming in together wasn't intentional by any means. It was more of a happy accident.
A happy accident, but not an uncommon one, as you two do wind up spending quite a bit of time around each other. Tori, tell us a bit about yourself.
Tori is she's not very well liked by a lot of people. She is an odd one, kind of the oddball usually. She hangs around she's pretty much going to be the one that is the knows where the fun is, so to speak, where if you want to get fucked up, she knows she's got a hookup for that. She's that one, and because of her involvement in all of those extracurricular activities, she wasn't paying attention, and things started slipping, and she wasn't keeping track of funding for her education and such, and probably not keeping her grades up as much as she should have been, and so she is in a bit of financial distress right now at school.
Such is the life of the college student.
Yeah.
But that lifestyle that you mentioned, the hookup, the knowing where the fun is, it's been a bit beneficial in terms of the current situation, as you know a little bit, that both of you do know a little bit about where you last saw Noah, and you've got some time to discuss it as you head forward to this meeting location.
Storyteller.
Yes.
As far as where I had last seen Noah, was Tori also at that event?
You were both there, yes.
Okay. All right, now I haven't seen him for quite a while. What's this all about? Thought the cops were done looking.
Well, apparently there are other people who are quite interested in finding him, probably more so than the cops are looking for him, so I'm sure that that's what this has to do with.
Now, I mean, as far as where he's at, I mean, I don't know anything. Do you know anything?
I mean, if I knew something, I think I would have already said it.
Well, it's just... I know that there's some interest that's been kind of fallen on him, and I didn't know if the circles that you ran in knew anything, because the ones that I do don't either.
Interest? Well, that's... Forgive for the lack of a better term, but interesting. What interest exactly are you talking about?
Well, there was that, the one gal he was all over. You didn't see that?
I mean, it was a party. It was a thing that was happening, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I haven't seen her at one of those events before.
The only thing that I remember specifically is very pretty, tall. I remember something along those lines, yeah. But I don't know, really. I couldn't pinpoint who she was. I might have seen her before. I don't know for certain. I see a lot of people.
Kind of lucky, though, wouldn't you think? I mean, she was something else. Wouldn't mind myself, but way too busy.
I mean, you have met Noah, right? Like, he's a charmer. Don't let him fool you.
Well, I know, but I mean, I'm a fairly good judge of character, and I mean, she's significantly out of his league.
I don't know. Places like that are where girls go to, you know. If they can't go, you know, if they can't frolic up, they frolic down.
Slumming
you get what
it.
I'm meaning?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Slumming
Especially if they've got the right stuff, you know.
Well, and I mean, broke college kids, I mean, we know where to get our hands on whatever it is that you're looking for, and you know, it's the experimental phase. You can get some pretty pliable playmates, as it were.
Tori and Cormac, as you're walking, could you both roll your 2d10s for me? Don't add anything.
15.
Okay.
I have a 16.
Okay. Through all this talking about the various specifics of this party culture, you don't seem to attract too much attention. You seem to be pretty well left alone, which, for a couple of standout folks like yourselves, is not always a common occurrence. But it gives you the time to talk as you both make your way into the building, upstairs, and arrive at the, I believe, still open door of Professor Ozymandias Jones, where you see a young woman with a bit of ashy blonde hair and a nervous complexion holding a cup of coffee.
Good evening, Professor. How long is this going to be?
Oh, it shouldn't be too long. Just trying to gather a couple of eyes that might have seen where our mutual friend might have gone.
Sup, Pro Oz?
Tori, why don't you guys have a seat and help yourself to anything you'd like?
Cormac will go and he'll take the coffee. If there's any kind of like snacks or anything set out, he'll also help himself. But
We've got bagels.
He'll take a bagel and just enough cream cheese just to add a little bit of flavor to it, and just sit down and kind of munch on the bagel. And he's blowing on the coffee, waiting for it to cool, and he's kind of looking at Audrey. Don't recognize you from around here.
I used to go here. We probably just didn't have any classes together. I did fashion.
Drop out?
Yes.
I knew it. Got such a good sense about these things.
And, it's a big school. Yeah, I don't really... let's just say the fashion majors tend to be a little too high maintenance for me.
You sure you haven't been getting advice from some fashion majors lately? You know.
It's having to look presentable for work.
Yeah, okay. So... what are we doing here exactly?
Just trying to put together some puzzle pieces. I mean, the police have done what the police have done. And you guys know as good as I do, they're not the most reliable bunch. So I figured I care. So I'd look into it a little bit myself. And I believe you guys have seen him at least most recently.
Well, as we were talking a moment ago, last time I think that anybody really saw him was he was getting very cozy with a very tall, stunning lady. Sorry, Blondie.
When was that?
And I look over to Tori. About a week ago, wasn't it?
As you both think back, it was actually about 8 weeks ago, which, Audrey, that timing is a little strange for you.
Oh, yay, good.
Do you share the corrected 8 weeks ago, or do you keep it vague, Cormac and Tori?
Oh, I'll straight up say 8 weeks. 8 weeks ago.
About 2 months,
maybe.
yeah.
Something like that.
Audrey, could you make that roll again, the 2d10 plus 0?
Can I do better at it this time? Yes, that's a 20.
Great. You managed to keep the same expression, not outwardly revealing the fact that you and Noah broke up about 1 month ago.
Ouch.
As you sit here, starting to put the puzzle pieces on the table, this is about when the puzzle master arrives. Alex, it's been quite a long flight for you to get here.
Yeah.
But you've made it onto campus, and you've made your way towards Professor Jones's office, where you've asked all these people that you've reached out to through social media and every mean that you can to assemble. The people that you think would make the most sense. You've heard from the professor about the classmates. You knew that Noah was dating somebody, but you didn't know how things were there. If he fell off the face of the earth, maybe she would know, maybe she wouldn't. You're hoping that you can find something, anything, in regards to this. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Alex is currently kind of like a little bit hunched over. He's fairly tall, lean. He's just kind of stressed at the moment. He's been having that damn dream since about a week or so before Noah disappeared, and it just has been gnawing at the back of his head. And then Noah disappeared, and he's completely, just utterly drained and bagged right now. Jet lag and horrible dreams, and he's just completely out of it. He's clean shaven, which I'm not. Sorry.
Out of it, but making his way still towards this meeting point which you do finally reach, the open door of Dr. Ozymandias Jones, where you see 3 other people, along with the professor, inside, where you give a knock. Finally announce yourself.
Yeah, I'll just knock. And, hello?
Oh, yes. Come in.
Professor Ozymandias?
Call me Ozzy.
Yeah, okay. Ozzy. Yeah, that is it's a long name. Is it Greek?
It is. Yeah.
Professor, it's a little odd, because minus a couple of differences, you would swear this is just Noah standing in front of you. There's enough of a difference to identify as sibling, twin, but given the focus of the conversation, it feels a little bit like having the subject right there. Cormac, Tori, you as well. Audrey, normally I'd have you roll here, but based on a previous roll, I'm going to go ahead and assign. You're going to take -1 to further rolls until this scene ends. As you see, as far as you are concerned in that brief moment, Noah walk right in before the voice speaks up, and it starts to fade back in a little bit that this is not Noah as much as he may look like it.
Really is strange. It's like, I mean, I guess you are twins, but you really are the spitting image.
Yeah, I get that a lot. Sorry?
I said not quite identical, but yeah, close enough. It's damn near uncanny.
Yeah. So, like, I don't even know where to start. Like, what do we all have for information? Like, I have to find Noah.
You don't have some kind of twin ESP or something that you could ping him or something now that you're in the area?
I don't think it works like that. You can't, not like a Twindar or anything.
I've seen studies, but none of them proven.
The whole, pinch one and the other feels it. Yeah.
It is funny. It is funny, Alex. Like you have felt this very strong connection to Noah, but yeah, surely it's not like
I can't
sci-fi movies would present.
I can't just ping myself and then walk 10 meters in one direction, then ping and get a triangulated single. Like, I don't think it works that way.
Well, I guess we can start with when was the last time you've heard from him?
I mean, don't you have some kind of like, I don't know, like an app that, you can, with check-ins and stuff?
Like a twin app? No, we just use
my twin.
Facebook Messenger.
I mean, like, I'm just saying,
I mean, I guess that's an idea. We could probably get somebody to program that when we're not trying to look for my missing brother.
It's not $1 million idea, but it's an idea.
all I'm saying is, like, I know people that have siblings and they have these little apps that they can see where each other are.
Yeah, I guess we're assuming a lot. Were you too close?
We were
That's fair.
fairly close. Yeah, we kept in contact. We had kind of a connection, but it's not like Twindar ESP necessarily.
Not enough to go to the same school.
No.
Now,
Yeah.
Alex, as an aside, how true is that?
I'm trying to cover stuff up. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to the storyteller.
Of course.
Everybody else here, I'm going to lie through my teeth.
On the subject of that, though, could you roll 2d10 and add your willpower for keeping it together, just to present what you're trying to present?
Oh, that's not a great roll. I am definitely not keeping it together.
What does that total out to?
What is my willpower? My willpower is 2. I rolled a 5 and a 1, so that's like 8 total.
Okay. The rest of you you're hearing this, but you're seeing the intensity in Alex's eyes as he says this. He's putting on what you'd probably assume to be like a more reserved and kept together front. But this man needs to find his brother. It is vital. Obviously, if it weren't obvious enough that he had already reached out to all of you a week ago, desperately trying to find his brother after all the calls started bouncing, you see it buried back in there.
And to answer, I think somebody asked, when was the last time I had heard from him? It was about 2 weeks ago that I heard from him last.
That was about when you heard last, but then
Yeah.
everything cut off about a week ago.
And then it was more like less and less connection until about the disappearance about a week ago, and my phone started bouncing back messages. It was like his phone was disconnected.
And he didn't mention anything that might imply what he'd been up to, what he'd been getting into.
Well, like he sent a few pictures of like people who I had never seen before. And I just figured he was kind of melding in with life on campus and making new friends. But now it's just with everything else, I think it's a little weird.
You have the pictures?
Do I have the pictures?
As you flip back through the phone, they do appear to be photos of a party of sorts. A lot of selfies.
But yeah, here's a couple of them.
Oh, some party pictures. Tori, you know where this was?
Tori, go ahead and make the 2d10 roll and add your perception.
All right.
Or he probably has
Probably.
it GPS. Like,
I assume you know the time and the day.
That is going to be 14.
14.
Yeah.
It takes you a bit. But eventually, you start noticing like a familiar person in the background of a few of these photos. Starts to register. She's tall. She's abnormally pretty. You were just having a conversation about her.
Oh.
You know this party.
Yeah. See, that's the Sorry, sweetheart, you're gonna get a little upset for just like 2 seconds. But yeah, that's that woman. That's her. That's the tall, pretty thing that he was very cozy with. And that's the last time that I remember, like, really, like, he was really well, not necessarily himself, but you know.
And I lean over and I take a look at the pictures as well.
It's that party.
Yeah.
You recognize her immediately, Cormac.
Yeah, that's her.
Yep. This is the
Cozy
stunning
with.
woman that was at Lee's party.
Cozy with? What do you mean?
They were making the beast with two backs, but not quite. They didn't get that. And
They were very fond of each other.
I look over to Audrey. They didn't, like fuck or anything, but it was,
Not that you know of. I mean,
well,
he was very like, oh shit, sorry, my bad.
Audrey, go ahead and roll 2d10. Add your coolness to act under pressure with the -1.
Fuck, Sam. 13.
That's with your coolness added and then -1.
Oh, then 12.
Okay,
I forgot my -1.
it's the same range. You hear Tori's words and nod along. Professor, what was the cup made out of? Was this a mug or was this like a paper coffee cup?
Paper coffee cup.
It's bending. It is definitely bending as she talks, but she seems to have it together besides that.
Can the
Take
rest
note
of
of
us?
that.
Yeah. Can the rest of us notice that she's kind of losing her shit?
You can all roll 2d10 plus your perception.
Oh yeah, I don't know this shit.
Perception.
You don't care, Tori.
It's like 19.
Okay, yeah, you definitely noticed this.
14 for me.
You noticed that Alex has noticed something,
Okay.
and you can follow along pretty well.
I'm gonna hand my phone over to the professor because everybody's kind of gaggled around the phone, and I'm gonna go over to Audrey and be like, "Are you all right?"
Yes.
Can I
Yes, I am fine.
put my
Just need to figure out where Noah is.
put my hand on her shoulder and try
Don't
to
touch
take-
me!
Okay.
You got the face thing. Honestly, it's a good thing that she's reacting this way. If I were to find out that my boyfriend was cheating on me,
I'm kind of starting to see why he might have. I don't say that out loud. I'm just kind of like, just like, I'm just starting to put that together.
I'm gonna slowly, like, kind of reach my hand, be like, "I'm gonna take the coffee away from you."
Wait, twin, do you have a Snickers? I hear that works well.
What is wrong with you?
Dude, I'm trying to make light of a clearly stressful
I'm
situation.
gonna try to take the coffee without burning either one of us.
Audrey, do you let go?
Yeah, my attention is now turned to Tori.
Okay.
The cup is no longer.
Yeah, easy enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna like reach it back behind me to like pass it off to somebody else. Like,
I'll take it and I'll go and I'll sit it down on the edge of the professor's desk.
Yeah, Cormac, do you feel like diffusing the situation, bringing things back to the conversation at hand, the information that you're gathering?
Yeah. Now,
that's part of the problem.
all right. Hold on a second here. Now, as far as when the last time everyone saw Cormac, or I mean saw Noah, it's been a week. But
Yeah.
as far as when the last time anyone saw Noah, I mean, that party wasn't like the last time that that I saw him personally, but I mean, as far as that lady goes, I don't recognize her from anywhere, and I mean, I tend to move in the circles that you tend to notice people like her, and that was the first night I've ever saw her.
Sure you do. Look, when I said that was the last time that we really saw Noah, it's because, like, right after that, he kind of went a little loopy. Like, I would have almost said, like, he gotten, like, some really bad shit, and maybe it was that, and that he was kind of getting, the tweaky paranoia, all of that stuff. But it wasn't even that. It was just different. And so, yeah, that party was probably the last time we actually saw Noah, like, before he went kind of crazy.
So-
that is interesting that he's reacted that kind of way. When did I receive that assignment from Noah?
You received that assignment about 2 weeks ago.
And I'm gonna be Tori while this is happening and she's talking. I'm gonna kind of start looking around the professor, this room. Like, if there's a desk, I'm gonna start trying to look through. If the professor doesn't necessarily stop me, but I'm looking through. I'm looking for booze.
I'm right here.
I am looking for booze.
It's in the back shelf.
It's probably not even hidden.
It's
And
not
I'm
even
just like,
hidden.
All right. Well, if it's not hitting, then I don't have to look through the drawers. I'm just gonna walk over and just grab it, and then grab another cup and pour it in there, and just hand it to Audrey and be like, I feel like you're gonna need this, or that you do need this, because you're kind of a little on edge.
Audrey, do you accept?
Yes, but I'm not going to drink it. Just like the coffee, she just takes it and holds it in her hands.
Okay.
And I would like to, can I... Out of character, I've noticed something, so I'm gonna assume in character I can notice it too. But she's got some, like, interesting little things going on with the wrists here, and,
You can certainly roll to see if you understand it. And I could say that you can add your intuition or your reason to either read a person or investigate, whichever is higher.
Okay. All right. Where's the read a person thing?
It'd be intuition.
Intuition. Okay. Then that is going to be 19.
As you hand the cup over to Audrey, you get a pretty good look at the wrist. Audrey, could you describe your wrist?
Yeah, so they look like almost sort of like friction burns, but they've definitely been like bruised and abraded.
You notice that, and you piece it together with the strung out look that Audrey seems to have, the jumpiness at Alex's arrival, and the lack of wanting to be touched. That Audrey definitely had a less than stellar experience recently, and it seemed to revolve around Noah.
I'm gonna, like, as I hand her the cup and she goes to take it, I'm just gonna hold on to it for a second and look at her wrist and then look back at her and then let it go and just kind of give her a very subtle wink and not say anything. I'm just going to just not say anything.
Very well.
So
Yeah, Alex?
go ahead.
I was
Dormant.
I was gonna ask Audrey. So did the two of you live together? Did he crash at your place from time to time? What was the arrangement there?
No, he had a dorm here, and so did I, because I went here.
I didn't know if you'd like shacked up on or off campus or. Oh, yeah, okay, so you were bouncing dorm to dorm then. Oh, gotcha. All right.
And it wasn't a week ago that he got weird. It was a lot longer ago than that.
Like, how long are we talking here?
A while. The last time I saw him, he was already like that, and that was about a month ago. And he'd been weird before that.
Yeah. I'd say I started noticing the weirdness, like, after the party.
So where was that party? Like, where?
I looked at Tori.
Who was
like,
holding it?
Are we sure that the cops are all done with poking around with this here?
Oh, fuck the cops. They're not going to do anything anyway.
Well, I'm just saying that there's, we'll say some general concern, not just for your brother, but there's, some others that.
What others?
Well, things are a little complicated, and starting to go poking around that party willy-nilly is not really the best idea.
Alex, could you roll 2d10? Don't add anything.
That is an 8.
You have flown all the way here after your twin brother, who you have known very literally your entire life, has fallen off of the face of the earth. You have taken the time and effort to gather people here to help you. You have found some evidence of the last place that he was. And this man doesn't want to tell you.
Does the professor have any paperweights on his desk?
Yeah, like a real cool one. Like one of those gyroscope ones.
Good to know.
Now, before you do this action, could you please roll 2d10 plus your willpower?
Plus my willpower. All
Yes.
right. Oh, shit. Where's my willpower? 2. That is a nice solid 7.
Proceed as you were about to.
Okay. So I'm going to grab the paperweight and grab Cormac by the shirt, push him up against the wall, holding the paperweight behind my head. Like, you're going to tell me.
God.
And of course, all three of you see this immediate outburst.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
That's expensive.
I think
Dude.
okay, hold on just a moment here. It's like, if you let me go, we can talk. If you don't let me go, when this gets even more escalated, then we've got a little situation here.
I've got a counteroffer. You're going to talk, or this expensive paperweight is going to have a lot of blood on it.
I look to the professor. You gonna help me out here, Annie?
Yeah, let's I understand you're under a lot of stress that your twin. We're all trying to find him. Maybe
Tori's
Cormac
gonna-
just needs to understand that everybody here is cool and there's not going to be any trouble for anybody who might have been up to something at the party.
Tori's gonna pull her phone out and she's just gonna say, "You have all of 30 seconds to get your shit together and put the paperweight down, or I'm calling the cops."
I mean, this technically is assault right here, and I'm,
Yeah.
Seems to me you guys don't want the cops involved anyway. So
Oh no, I don't care if the cops are involved. You guys said the cops weren't doing shit, so we were here to help. But, if you're gonna go all like a Rambo with a paperweight, I got no choice, man.
Look,
Alex, go ahead and roll your willpower again.
sure.
2d10 plus 2.
That's a little better. Okay. That is a 17 and my willpower is 2, so that's 19.
The longer the situation has gone on, the more that the flare-up is starting to dwindle down. It hasn't changed the fact that, once again, you've come all this way and done all this effort for your missing family, flesh and blood. And you're being deprived of a name, a location, anything of the last place that he was seen. But you get a bit of rationality back as you slowly set the paperweight on the desk and slowly, very slowly, release Cormac.
As
I'm
I'm
gonna-
releasing Cormac, I'm just going to say, just give me a name.
We're
Alright.
good.
we're good. Now, hold on a
Good.
second here.
Yes, it runs in the family.
I was actually going to say, storyteller, have I noticed any outbursts like this from Noah here lately since the party?
Not really. Noah has become, to the general public, Noah has become very aloof and reserved and just odd. You haven't noticed any like big public outbursts, but
Okay.
you also haven't had a interpersonal relationship with him.
Mhm.
You just noticed that you started to see less and less of him until he was gone.
I'm going to get up and close that open door.
Good plan.
Smart.
And I'm just going to grab another chair that's somewhere up against the wall, flip it around, sit down all cool and backward style, and be like, hey, we're all cool here. Any other week, I might have been at that party. Just tell me or tell us what you know, and nothing that won't help this case gets out.
Tori grabs the paperweight, and now she's just going to play with it.
I'm
Cormac?
I'm just saying that the kinds of people that host these kinds of parties, they don't take kindly on, and I look over to Tori, outsiders snooping around. And I'm just saying, if you want some information, I can arrange you to talk to somebody, but I don't want... This needs to be done with some tact. Okay? Will you settle for some tact?
Alex, how do you feel about Cormac taking the lead on this one first?
I'm fine.
Look, all right, here, hold on. And I give... If Alex doesn't already have my cell phone number, I give it to him. For the record, it's a burner number, but like, you can get a hold of me at any point in time, and I'm your errand boy while you're here. All right, I'll take care of you. I'll make sure that your needs are being seen to, and just give me some time to talk to some people, and I can hopefully get you to see who you need to see.
All right.
And I look over to Audrey. And look, I don't know what's going on between the two of you. You've obviously had a little bit of a rough go of things. I mean, do you want in on this information or no?
Yes. Yes, I need this information.
All right. Well, I'm looking at Tori. All right. Well, I'm gonna go step away. I'm gonna make a phone call. I'm going to do what I can to get you some traction, Alex. All right.
Yeah.
Audrey, have you eaten? Like, when was the last time you ate something?
What day is it?
Yep, come on. I'm going to take her hand. It's like, I think she's going to need some food, because that might, help stabilize the potentially hangry situation that might be going on. Hence the stickers joke. Did nobody get that? It's okay. I'm gonna take care of you and get you something to eat. And Professor, if you don't mind, maybe, I don't know, maybe keep for lack of better words, just because I just want to say it, keep a little bit of a leash on that one over there, because he's a little aggressive.
I've got bagels.
There. Yeah. Well, I think she needs something a little bit more than a bagel at this point.
You're not going to give her drugs, are you?
Seriously, do you think I give everybody drugs? Only if they pay me.
So, before you leave, what do you know about this particular party?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody gets to go.
Right.
Attendees change.
Where was it?
I mean, it moves around. So where it was then doesn't really matter, because it's going to be somewhere else next.
Well, I mean, has anyone gone through, like, his stuff yet? Because, I mean...
I just got here. Haven't had a chance to go to his place.
He doesn't have a place anymore. When you don't pay for your dorm rooms, they clear it out and they store it all in Lost and Found. But they won't let me in there because only family is allowed.
Luckily for us, we can head in that direction while you guys are getting some food.
So, who is she, though? Like, is she a student? Do you recognize her, Professor?
Who?
The person in the photos.
Oh, do I? Storyteller.
You don't. You don't. You don't. Audrey, you don't. And Cormac and Tori, before this party, you don't. If she is a student, she's not running any of your circles. Perhaps
Well, I
the person that
definitely
runs the
remember
party
her
would
if
know.
I saw her, but can't say that I know her.
Is there like a school list or something you could look up, see if she's part of that?
I don't think these parties are like college mixers.
Probably best to double check, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody can figure out if she's a student or not, the professor totally has that.
I've got all the passwords.
So, if I'm correct so far, Cormac is going to step out to make a phone call about the party, and Tori, you wanted to take a walk with Audrey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you all take these motions, leaving the professor and Alex?
Yeah, I'm intending on it if she'll go with me.
Okay.
And,
So
as I say, as I'm going out, as I'm going out, I'm sending Cormac a text and letting him know that Lee might have some information.
I send back
Okay.
a thumbs up emoji.
Okay, and we'll come back to these groups in just a moment as we hang for a moment on Alex and the professor now left alone in professor's office.
It's, as soon as they leave, I'm going to close the door. And then I'm going to turn to the professor real slow and be like, and what do you know?
I don't know much, honestly. Kind of fell off the map, which, as I said before, isn't too uncommon for students, but I thought your brother had a lot of potential. So if anything, I was a little bit disappointed. I have his last assignment. I haven't really looked into it much, but because I didn't grade it. It was kind of disheveled and torn up and stained, so I didn't take it. Didn't want it to mess up my bag.
Can I see it?
Sure.
And professor, the document is sitting in a folder on your desk. Very easy to grab. You've known where it is. You didn't grade it, but all the things connected, you were certainly fascinated. So, do you read it to Alex or do you hand it to Alex?
I'll read it.
Okay. So out loud?
Yeah.
As a player, would you like to read this or would you like me to read it for you?
You can read it. I'll be honest.
Okay. So, Alex, the professor opens this folder, and on one side it seems to be this tattered, muddy-looking piece of paper. And muddy not in the physical sense, but it doesn't look like it's proper assignment material. On the other side is typed, printed, clean sheet. It's a transcript. Not everything was able to be deciphered, Professor. The missing text is not included. You can tell that it's long. You can tell that his document is longer than what's typed up. But what she was able to make out, you read out loud for Alex to hear. Noah's last written words. A drop of sweat rolls down the side of my face as my muscles cry in unison, stretched to their limits on an X-shaped cross. In the distance, two dying suns stare back at me, like a pair of bloodshot eyes watching over a world bathed in red. Sulfuric clouds march across a writhing sky, dusted with a myriad of razor-sharp sparks that ignite and die a moment later. A monolithic structure rises on the horizon, scarred with glowing yellow incisions that cut into its sides, much like the wires cut into my flesh. The sun orbs appear to shut, overcast by thick black fumes ascending from a decrepit city that has collapsed within itself. Suddenly, I become aware of another presence. A female shape materializes before me, exhaled from between the slits in the cracked earth. Slender legs walk towards me, and I follow their motion. The curve of her hips take a tentative form, wavering on the edge of existence. A shiver runs down my tense spine as I hear my bones click in morbid harmony. Her form becomes more defined, and I feel something stir within me. A pair of full breasts like falling teardrops rest gently on her chest, creating a triangle with the hollow between her collarbones. My limbs grow weaker while a familiar heat begins to burn my loins, lacing the pain in my wrist and ankles with a tinge of satisfaction. I watch her features adjust. Her cheekbones slide back and up, making her face slender and slightly angular. Her lips swell and fill with color, while her nose narrows and arches so the tip perks up. Black hair grows out of the apex of her skull, cascading down past her shoulder blades. For the first time, she looks at me, her eyes like the suns in the sky. The woman of my dreams. Alex, Professor, this is vivid, uncomfortable, unnatural, not a tone that you're used to from Noah. I need you both to roll 2d10 and add your soul.
Soul roll.
Soul.
It's 11 plus my soul is. Where's my soul? There it is. Plus 1, 12.
Okay, Professor?
Where is soul? Oh, plus
Soul's
0.
on the bottom.
So I got 15.
15. Now, Professor, this is absolutely fascinating. It's entrancing. You were expecting something good from Noah. He's a brilliant student, but this is a new level. This is, you hesitate to call it groundbreaking, but this is unlike anything that you've ever read. It seems to touch a part of you that hasn't been touched in quite some time. Part of you that you've boxed away. You're able to contain yourself, not react, but the feeling is there. A flicker that comes on the tail of that gnawing feeling from earlier. Something is definitely there. Perhaps maybe your therapist would be of more use to you in unpacking this, but this is going to stick with you.
It is certainly an alluring piece.
Alex, the connection that you have with your brother, as you mentioned to me, is much deeper than you presented to the others.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have that ESP, but there's an unmistakable bond. Sometimes it does feel like you can share feelings. Not one gets hurt and the other feels it, but a similarity, a parallel.
Like an empathy with each other.
Right, an unfettered, unintentional empathy. You can't always place it. You don't always necessarily know, this is what my twin is feeling. but you both will experience it at the same time. And reading these words that Noah has written, that empathy is there, and it almost feels like words that you could have written yourself. That boundary between you and Noah that already was porous, it's a little bit more blurry.
Do I get kind of a feeling that this writing is about like that particular woman in specific, or anybody?
You do get a feeling that it's about that woman in particular, and moreover, you can see her.
Yeah, we have a picture.
No, not that, Professor.
In my mind.
Alex can see her clearly in his mind, as if she were standing in front of him 8 weeks ago. It feels like you were there, but everything is hazy around the edges. And it feels like you can see exactly what Noah was talking about. All of those intense descriptions of this woman, they are there for you. They were there when you saw them, whenever it was. You can't quite remember, but it's coming back crystal clear, and those emotions are blending with your own. You're going to reduce one stability on your character sheet as this bleeds together, and you can't shake this feeling. It is an alluring piece indeed, Professor.
That is descriptive.
Yeah. Honestly, this is more than I was expecting from this ragged piece of paper. You wanted me to look into the database, right? The school roster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can do that for you. And I'll go over to a computer. I don't have a name.
No, you do not.
So honestly, it would be a case of flipping through student IDs.
You would have to get your hands on student IDs, which would involve reaching out to somebody at administration with a description of this picture, or perhaps reaching out to the police with this picture to see what you can find. This is going to take you quite some time.
Honestly, I feel like we might be better off if you go to the Lost and Found, maybe see if you can get a clue there.
We should probably do that when everybody comes back, because they might see something in the Lost and Found that I wouldn't recognize, or they might have information about certain items. Or actually, yeah, like I'm still a bit rattled from that reading.
There was something.
Yeah, you know what? We should probably go to check it out.
I mean, you can grab it, you can bring it back. They can go through it themselves.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
That's fair. And Alex says you head out to the Lost and Found, and Professor, you begin what you are feeling maybe a fruitless search, but you're going to try anyway. We're going to take a break. We're going to let our players unwind a little bit. We're going to let you unwind a little bit. And we'll be back shortly. Welcome back to Cult Downfall. The group has split up not too terribly long after coming together. Tensions flared, mysteries were uncovered, and more mysteries still awaited. First, we're going to follow Tori as she leads Audrey out of the building, cross campus, possibly off campus. It is in the middle of Atlanta after all, towards some food and who knows what else.
So, tacos, Chinese, doesn't matter. Burgers, pizza.
I think there's like a salad place nearby.
Oh, honey, no. Fuck that. You're getting real food. You
It's
need
real food. Vegetables are food.
Oh, okay, yeah, but counter. Heavy food, like something that's really like put some, really like put some meat on your bones, kind of comfort food, like fuck mac and cheese, like we can go get some mac and cheese somewhere, or we can find something and you can get like some tater tots or fries. That's vegetables, or
I
something
like tater
that.
tots.
All right, fantastic. See, we there's a place up here, I'm sure that we
Yeah,
can.
and you're walking. There's there's the usual. There's a Chick-fil-A. There's a Panda Express. There's a Steak and Shake. There's a Waffle House. You've got options.
Waffle House. We're gonna go to the Waffle House. It's not 3 a.m, but it works.
Okay. Audrey seems very much at a loss as to what is happening right now.
Absolutely.
So she's just sort of letting Terry take her.
Tori.
Yeah. And
Sorry.
Yeah. And Tori does continue to take her down the street into, it's an odd Waffle House, all Waffle Houses considered because it's part of a building and not a standalone. But inside looks just the same. Diner, linoleum, smells like breakfast food constantly.
And I'll take the seat, and I will, let her sit down. I'll take a seat, and then just hand her a menu. You're like, whatever you want. We'll say it's on me. Ish.
What do you mean? Are we gonna dine and dash?
We'll see how. We'll see. We'll see.
The crime begins early. Okay.
I'm not saying that we're gonna, but you know what? I have a thing worked out with someone here, so like I supply them with a good time, and they don't charge me for food.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, super easy, no problem. Not necessarily dine and dash, but like, so long as they are working today, I'm sure they are.
Hey, Tori, could you go ahead and roll me 2d10? Don't add anything.
All right. 10.
Okay. Audrey, as Tori is talking, you do notice some of the, like, one of the waitresses is taking order of somebody else, and she's giving like a funny look towards Tori. Waitress seems a little bit older, nice old southern lady, and she's kind of side-eyeing Tori the more that she talks. Not in a good way.
So, you're welcome to continue to check out the menu, order whatever you want to order, but so you want to tell me what happened?
When? You saw Noah last.
No, honey. I mean in the
Oh.
And I kind of heard a little comment you made earlier when Alex did the Hulk out thing.
Noah wasn't always like the way he was at the end. I don't know if you knew him when he started here at the school, because it would have been before he was part of your crowd. But he was really sweet and young and innocent. And then sort of one day he wasn't anymore. He started wanting to do things that we'd never done and that he'd never done. And then it's not what you're thinking though. He didn't hurt me like that. He attacked me. Like with a rope.
Like he tried to like strangle you? Is that why you're wearing the thing?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Like did he That sucks like a lot, and terribly sorry that you went through that. Was he like trying to kill you, or like was he trying to be kinky?
I think it started like kinky, but I don't think he was gonna stop with the rope.
Tori,
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
could you roll me 2d10, add your intuition?
Yeah. Okay, there it is. That is gonna be a 19.
Audrey is telling you this story. She's continuing to tell you this story. And she doesn't seem to notice it. But you notice the tension in her shoulders build as she tells you. Her chest going up and down a bit more erratically. It sort of comes together when you glance down and notice the laminated menu has been curled like a scroll in her hands as she continues to tell you this story. Audrey, you can continue.
I don't think he planned to stop with the rope. I don't know if he ever really planned to stop with it. And I couldn't breathe and he didn't care. And I don't even know how I got out. And that was the last time I saw Noah.
Audrey, please roll with your willpower added.
I am no longer at a -1, correct? That was because of the situation in the room.
One moment.
It doesn't matter.
All right, what did you roll?
5.
Okay. Yeah, to answer your question, that scene had ended, so yes, you were no longer at -1, but nevertheless, you're finally starting to feel what Tori has noticed. It's your vision is getting a little hazy on the edges as your breathing is become more shallow. This menu is creased with how much you've compressed it. And as you continue to speak, the words become more choppy. You're still trying to go, but the more you speak, the more you see it. The more you describe, the more you feel it. the more you say, the more you relive it. As that final night 4 weeks ago replays in your mind over and over, the vision taking a hold of you, tightening, much like the rope that you can almost still feel around your neck, around your wrists.
I don't think he planned to stop at all. And that was the last time he was ever around me. And then he just disappeared. But apparently not completely, because you all continued to see him and he continued to have a totally normal life without whatever he was doing to me.
All right, so we're gonna pause for a second right there, Audrey, and Tori's gonna dig in her purse real quick and pull out a bottle of like a pill bottle, and I'm just gonna pop one into my hand and slide it over to her and just like, here, you need to take that.
Audrey, you don't want to pause. You don't want to pause.
You just need to take this now and trust me, pharmaceutical major. I know what I'm doing. No dosages. You're fine. You just take that.
So while continuing to still tell this story, almost just repeating it now, Audrey reaches out and she puts her hand over the pill and just kind of like holds it tightly in her fist, not taking it, not even really acknowledging that you've given her a drug.
Go ahead and roll 2d10 again and add your coolness for acting under pressure.
15.
Okay. You may continue.
Still with the panic from the earlier roll?
With the scene, with the interaction.
So yeah, she's just got hold of it and isn't taking it. And he was just gone, and I was just alone. And then Alex calls out of nowhere, and he sounds just like Noah, and he looks just like Noah. I have to find Noah.
Clearly, I'm getting this hint that you're not wanting to reconcile with him. Right? You're more so like just wanting to, like, I don't know, pound on him a little bit or something. I've got the idea correct. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, all right. That's cool. Totally cool with me. Wow, that's a lot to unwind. And oh, look, water. And I'm just gonna hand it to her. It's like, seriously though, you don't want to like lose yourself too much to what happened. So again, that will help you relax a little. It's nothing major. It's a low dose. In fact, it's what I take when I need to just relax. It's going to be okay. Other than that, you definitely need to eat something, and we will find Noah, and we will handle all of this.
No drugs, no food, nothing. Not until we find Noah.
Well, if you don't put something into your stomach, then you might end up, I don't know, losing consciousness due to, lack of food intake, because you kind of need that to be able to do shit like walk around, search, play investigative, detective, whatever. So if you want to find Noah, I strongly suggest you eat something. And if you want to find Noah with enough mental capacities to actually carry out whatever angry tirade you got going on in your head, I suggest you take that, because that'll help you mellow out a little bit so that we can think clearly enough to do the finding of Noah thing. Yeah. And other than that, why did you drop out?
Because of what happened. I couldn't walk through the hallways we'd walked through together. I couldn't look at the professors who knew Noah. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't think. Nothing meant anything.
You really cared about him, didn't you? Was he like your first like love thing?
Maybe my first like real one, but he wasn't like my first, but I was his. So who was putting all of these ideas in his mind? Who was telling him to do all of these things? Who was that fucking girl?
I don't know who she was. I don't know. People that go to do stuff like that, go to parties like that, they are into like kinky shit, fetishy shit. Not like that
wasn't.
shit.
Noah wasn't at all.
Did you ever think that maybe you didn't know him as well as you thought you did?
No. Do you think like he was lying from the get-go?
I mean, he's a guy, of course he was.
No, Noah wasn't like that. Noah was sweet, and he wasn't like that. He wasn't this person he turned into.
So what do you think got him to turn into this person then? Because usually that's not something that just happens overnight. That's,
drugs? Parties? I mean, Cormac seems to think that you guys work for some kind of, like, trafficker or drug lord or something that we can't involve the police with.
Wait, what?
Well, I mean, that freak out over the police. No one who's innocent acts like that when you suggest the police.
I mean, you said that I suggested calling the police, remember? So clearly
Cormac knows more about the boss than you do.
For anything like that.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
No. Sure. See, normal people aren't like, oh no, we shouldn't conduct our own investigation because what if people I know have the cops called on them? Normal people are like, oh no, we shouldn't do this because I trust the police, but that's not what happened. Do you remember?
I mean...
Look, I don't care who you work for. I don't care who he works for. I don't care about any of you. I just have to find Noah. And take care of it.
Well, then we will find Noah and sort everything out. Maybe, you know what I'm thinking? Maybe, you know what might be a good idea is maybe I try to get you an invitation to one of those parties.
Yes, that.
I believe there's one coming up in about 3 days, actually.
Okay, then we go to that.
But it, like, look, seriously though, we can't tell Alex or the professor about this. They are not the type of people that can just go to one of those parties because it's just not. They will both freak the fuck out. And, I mean, you saw Alex already. He fucking grabbed a paperweight.
Why do you care? Like, what's your deal in all this?
What do you mean? Why do I care if he goes to the party?
No, I mean, how did you know Noah? Why are you here? Why are you someone Alex contacted? I mean, I get that you and Cormac saw him for the last time, but didn't he only need one of you, if that's the case?
That's a real good fucking question. That's one that you would probably need to ask Alex about, because I have no fucking clue why he contacted me. Other than I knew Noah. I spoke to Noah on occasion. He was cool.
We should go deal with the lost and found. That's where we're gonna find something, if there's something to be found, and if there's not, then we'll go to this party in a few days.
Alright, seriously though, you can't say anything to the other two. It's not going to be okay. First of all, everyone knows the professor, and even if the professor wants to be the cool one, cannot go to this party.
I mean, he's still a professor. You can be as cool as you want, but he's still like way old, like 30 something.
Right, precisely. So yeah, no, the professor cannot go to the party, and you can't tell Alex, because if Alex goes to the party, you're not going to learn shit. He's going to go all hulky crazy, grab paperweights and start threatening people, and then, like, nothing. You're not going to get shit. Hey, maybe if you're lucky, maybe Noah will be at the party. I don't know. But hey, if we don't find him at the party, maybe you'll figure out what happened.
That's what we gotta do. And Audrey's gonna take her phone out and text Alex. Have you already reached the lost and found?
Have I already reached the lost and found?
You're on your way there.
Okay.
Like, while all this was going on, you and the professor were sort of reconciling over the transcript. So you are en route.
Okay. Yeah, I'll text that back. Like, on my way.
We'll meet you there, she texts back.
Order of tater tots to go, please.
And on that, we're going to move over to Cormac. Cormac, you have reached out to the host of the party. His name is Lee.
Mm-hmm. So Cormac's taken up post on if there's a fire escape outside the building that he can get onto without triggering the fire alarm. But he's going to be using his THC vape while he's on the phone with Lee. Trying to
go ahead and make a roll and add your reason.
Okay. $11.
Okay. This is your prepared advantage. So you get to choose two options. I'm going to go ahead and give you the location of something you're after, which is the fire escape in question.
Mm-hmm.
And the security system and other obstacles. So you are aware of the fact that this window doesn't open very easily, having been at this party before. So that is not the most advantageous way to go in or out. Mm-hmm. There is also a security guard at this building when you go in. They tend not to care too much. It's still just around the campus area. It's a nicer apartment, very polished, but the security guard doesn't freak out too much unless you really look like you don't belong. And frankly, the way that you're dressed, you kind of do look like you belong.
Well, if it's going to be too much of a hassle, I'm not going to mess with it, and I'm just going to make my phone call. But yeah, if there's this isn't the most inconspicuous thing in the world here, so we're going to skip the chemical interlude, and we're just going to make the phone call.
All right. And talking on the phone with Lee, he's not really being communicative.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and save you the trouble on this one. He's not being super communicative until he finally just invites you over, not really having the energy to collect his thoughts right now.
All right, what time do you think?
And he gives you like a time that's in maybe about an hour. It's a little bit later in the afternoon.
All right, yeah, that'll give us both some time to freshen up. We'll see you over there in about an hour then.
And while we're on you, we are going to fast forward a bit to that hour.
Okay.
You've arrived at Lee's apartment, building, rather.
Mm-hmm.
Walking past the security guard, taking the elevator up, walking down the hall towards Lee's apartment. It's a little odd. This is a very nice place. But where you expect to see that shine and polish, you start to see bits of dirt, cracks, a lack of maintenance. It's not intense. The place isn't falling apart, but it's very much out of place. You walk down the hall, take note of one of the dome cameras at the intersection as you walk through, knock on the door, and Lee opens the door. Eyes are bloodshot. The man looks hungover. Lee is a law student. He's from a well-off family, and he's known for his parties. So it's quite possible that you caught him the day after another one. But he's pretty good looking, about your height, blue eyes.
Oh, Lee,
He's not wearing like the fancy clothing though. He's in kind of a stained bathrobe, and his hair isn't quite combed the way that it normally is. And he just goes, "Hey, Mac."
Hey, Lee, mind if I come inside here for a minute?
Yeah. Yep.
Close the door behind me and kind of take stock of the apartment.
There's more of what you were seeing outside. Lee's place is not always the most kept, but it's still a very nice apartment. It's expensive backsplash in the kitchen, hardwood floors, marble countertop, but you keep noticing these little pockets of dirt, water spot on the ceiling, cracks in the drywall, like it's feeding in. And it's not like the place is falling apart, but something just doesn't, like Lee right now, just doesn't feel as kept together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have an okay night there, Lee. You look like shit.
I feel like shit.
Yeah, you doing okay there? You need some water or something?
He shakes the half-filled mug of coffee. I'm good.
So
What's up? What's up, man?
That kid that I've been bothering you about, Noah. The one that was at that party. He's gone missing.
Yeah.
His twin brother is in town. And yeah, he's not going to be taking no for an answer. And he's, one way or the other, he's poking around and he's asking questions. And he's going to be, if I don't help facilitate some sort of communication, he's going to be coming after you sooner or later. He'll figure it out one way or the other. He's determined.
Lee seems to be listening to you, but his eyes are a bit unfocused, with the bloodshot still in there. And he just takes it in for a minute. It feels almost like a full minute before he goes, just, sorry, what does he want?
You are storyteller. I'm gonna try to assess. Something seems very wrong with Lee beyond just having a really bad hangover.
Sure, you can go ahead and roll and add your intuition.
Okay. Uh, 14.
It's something is off. It's definitely more than a hangover. It looks like if it's a hangover, it's been with him for a while now. But yeah, he doesn't look like he's in any condition to, be holding like longer additional meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Which he's pretty evident in his tone of voice of just asking what exactly Alex wanted.
Now, his brother is wanting to talk to people about the party.
Whoa, what about?
He's wanting names, dates, locations, that kind of information. He's gonna try tracking Noah down one way or the other, and he's gonna be coming to you to get the information.
Oh, fucking fine. What do you want?
All right. Well, for starters, probably the most relevant piece of information is the one lady who was there, the stranger with the dark hair, the one that no one seemed to recognize. Noah and her were all over each other. I don't know if you knew who she was.
And with your roll from before, he's listening to you. You notice that the mug of coffee is shaking a little bit in his hand as he listens to you. He goes, "No, yeah, I know her. I don't know how to find her. Trust me, I tried."
What's her name?
I don't know. Nobody knew who she was. No one knows where she is. Nobody. Her friend. Nobody. Nobody. He's pacing around now with the mug of coffee, and there's an emphasis in his voice. You definitely believe him that he can't find this person, but there's more here.
Now, Lee, there's something obviously not right about this whole mess. That lady turns up, Noah goes missing, and now you're looking like 7 stacks of shit. And when was the last time you had your landlord take a look at your flat? Everything's falling apart.
What do you mean?
And I go and I walk over to you said there were some cracks in the drywall, and I kind of gesture. This right here, I mean, if the building is settling or something, I mean, that's one thing, but I mean, you got to get this taken care of sooner or later.
Lee looks like he's looking right through you. It's because did you come to do a fucking inspection of my place, or ask? Mac, what the fuck is this, man?
Look, where if you think that if you were to guess the next place where that lady's gonna turn up, where do
I
you
don't
think it's
fucking know, man. Okay, I've tried. Look, I tried. I don't know who she is. She and her friend showed up at my party. They seemed interested after Noah left. I was interested. We had a thing. And I can't fucking I nobody knows who they are. I can't find them. Nobody can find them, man. Okay? That's what I got.
storyteller?
Yes.
I would like to use enhanced awareness.
Okay. Go ahead and make your roll
Okay.
and add soul.
Yep. Okay. Seven.
As you watch Lee begin to snap off at you, it starts feeling familiar. And the more you watch him twitch and sort of in front of you retreat inward, the look on his face, the disheveledness, the more it starts to look like Noah did. And you focus on him, and for a brief moment, it's like you're looking at Noah. And the light behind him gets brighter and brighter. It's like two dying suns illuminating behind him. You feel it in the nerves of your eye. Like the light is reaching in and squeezing. You start to feel it in the tips of your fingers. You start to feel it creeping up your throat. You feel it creeping down your spine, into your groin. Warmth. Growing hotter like the sun. And then everything goes off balance as Lee shoves you. He goes, Dude.
What?
Are you hearing me? Are you even fucking listening to me right now?
No, I'm sorry. I'm lamping right now. I'm sorry.
You need to ask me all these fucking questions about the party, and then you can't even fucking listen to me when I'm talking to you.
Man,
critiquing my fucking wall.
Look, did you and her did you fuck there, Lee?
God, you really weren't listening, were you? Yes, the three of us fucked after Noah left, and now I cannot find them. That was they were interested in me, and I was interested in them, and we did something about it. Normally involves fucking, man.
All right, look. So do you want to talk to his brother then, or
no? I don't even particularly want to talk to you right fucking now, man.
All right, look. I'm gonna leave you alone.
Yeah.
And I'm going to See you at the next party.
Sure. Yeah. Why not? There's a.
I've got
there's
more
one.
goodies.
One down. It's at Mitchell's building. It's later tonight. I don't think I'm fucking going.
All right. Thank you. I reach into my pocket and I put one of my vape cartridges on the counter for him. Look, just something to take the edge off a little bit there, and I'll see you around. All right. And I go and I leave.
You hear a clatter as you close the door, and you look down, and the vape cartridge is rattling on the floor. It looks like it just missed your head on the way out.
All right, fine then. Go fuck yourself too. I take up the cartridge and I'm gonna send Alex a text. Have some info for you. Where are you at?
Alex is happening simultaneously as the other scene.
I'm just going to send one back to him saying, new phone, who dis? No, I'm kidding. Headed to the lost and found and whatever room number it happens to be.
I send a text back. See you there.
Okay. And we'll now pick up with Alex. Audrey and Tori are starting to arrive. Cormac will arrive shortly. There's a building in campus that has a room in it that is serving as the lost and found. It's not a particularly set, official location. It's kind of more like a closet. It's a very large closet, or maybe it was a small office. It's hard to tell. Sometimes they're the same thing. As you make your way through, Audrey and Tori coming up from a different hallway, it feels weird in here, Alex. It feels weirdly sterile.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like, you're on a campus.
Yeah.
You're among college students. It almost has a hospital kind of feel to it. There's not a whole lot of people in here, but you walk by one and you could swear you can hear this just phlegmy cough come out of them as you walk by. There's a janitor who limps by you. You swear he doesn't have any hair, but as you look closer, it's just very thin, almost translucent. Audrey and Tori, you approach, and shortly thereafter, Cormac, you come up behind the way that Alex came, as you all intersect.
All right.
What information do you have? And he's looking directly at Cormac.
All right, so the name of the person who kind of took care of the last party, his name is Lee. Went and stopped by, paid him a visit. He's definitely not in the best shape right now. Definitely quite a bit on the far side of strung out. But I've got some information. There's going to be another party at. I look over to Tori. Over at Mitchell's. Was that tomorrow night, Storyteller?
It's tonight.
Oh, there's a party over at Mitchell's tonight.
when does it start? Do you know, like, or does it just show up whenever?
And usually these kinds of affairs are a show up whenever sort of deal, but usually the fun doesn't start until at least 11 o'clock.
You get any info on the woman?
No, see, that's the other thing. Something about her's not quite sitting right with me. Now, I mean, someone like her, I'm not going to be slut shaming, but she's definitely been getting some mileage, and yeah, her and Lee, they hooked up, and yeah, he's looking pretty rough around the edges as well.
Oh, I wonder if that's the case. Noah hooked up with her, Lee's hooked up with her, and Noah went fucking crazy, and Lee is, I guess, apparently going crazy now. I wonder if she did something to them. Like, I don't know. Maybe she laced something.
A little too much GHB in one go will do that to you. Definitely would.
I mean, if she's... Maybe that's a vendetta thing. That's why nobody knows who the hell she is or where she came from. Maybe she's literally just...
She's a serial party killer. And I look over to Audrey.
Well done.
Sorry about that. Look, I'm sorry that... Look, I was friends with him as well, and I'm trying to make the best out of the situation that I possibly can. I don't have the connection that you did there, Audrey, but I'm sorry. Okay? We're gonna get to the bottom of this one way or the other. And I look over to Alex. So, that's the information that I can take care of for now. Anything else, it's gonna take a little bit more time to run down for you. But,
Where's this Mitchell's place? Wherever it
Address.
is.
Yeah, you describe it.
Blah.
And at this point, you all arrive in this group at the what passes for the receptionist. It's the person that can actually unlock the door to the lost and found. Just a middle-aged woman sitting behind the desk reading a book. She's wearing just a blazer and a dress shirt. Alex, for a brief moment, it almost looks patterned like a hospital gown before it just sort of, you shake it off.
Yeah. I'm here my name's Alex, and I did not fill in the last name.
That's fine.
I'm here for my brother's stuff. Noah, insert last name here.
Do you have proof of identification?
Yeah, and I just hold up my ID to the window or whatever.
And proof of relation?
He's my brother.
I mean, do you have proof that he's your brother?
The same last name.
You meet a lot of people with the same last name.
Why don't you just pull up a picture of the two of you? You look like.
Is there a picture of him in there?
I mean, you have photos with him, like older photos with
Yeah.
him. And as you pull it up, her face just sort of like falls. Just, oh God, I'm sorry. That's, no, yeah, sorry. See, Noah, let me take a look. We have things tagged. I'll be right back. And she walks over and she unlocks the door. The sound of rummaging for a few minutes. And she comes back out she comes back out in a couple of trips. There's a small box, cardboard box. It seems to have like clothes and textbooks in it. There's like a Nintendo Switch buried in there, and a small suitcase she puts on there that is closed with a combination lock. She goes, "This is This is all we have for him.
That's everything.
That's everything that was collected for Lost and Found. I mean, his roommate said that this was all that was really left behind that wasn't, communal.
Seems awfully light there.
I was thinking the same.
You could ask his former roommate, I guess, but this is what I have with the tag on it.
Maybe he had a drug problem and sold shit and...
I'm not here to judge.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that you are. I'm just letting them know that that's a possibility, too. Happens all the time.
Sure. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I guess that's it.
Great. All yours.
Well, can't just look through it here in the hallway.
Where would you like to reconvene?
Can we do it in your office, Professor?
Sure. I don't see why not.
All right. And we'll go ahead and speed run you guys back to Professor's office, where you were there. You go through clothes. It looks like about a week's worth of clothes in there total. A few textbooks. Professor, you see one of your textbooks in there. The aforementioned Nintendo Switch, some toiletries. And then there's that suitcase. Just combination locked suitcase. And it's not a normal suitcase combination lock. It is actually a padlock on a suitcase.
That's rare. So here's a question that is more two questions than it is one question. Do I know the combination?
You can certainly
not
see if you know the combination.
Yeah, not consciously, but would I just kind of look at it and use my twin sense?
See. I would say go ahead and roll 2d6 and add your reason.
Okay.
To see if you can sort of discern.
While he's doing that, Tori is going to be standing next to Audrey, and she's going to pop out her pillbox, and she's going to take a pill and then offer one. You sure? You might need it. You no idea what the hell you're about to find in that thing.
No, I'm good, or at least for now.
Okay, if you change your mind, like I said, I take them. It's literally just like a Valium 5, essentially, like low dose shit. Gotta keep my wits about me.
Valium's like a controlled substance.
Pharmacy major. Pharmaceutical major.
That's not how pharmaceutical majors work. They don't just give you a prescription pad, I think.
No.
You haven't even graduated yet.
But you get to shadow and meet all kinds of actual pharmacists.
Alex, what did you roll?
I rolled a 20 on the dice.
It's your birthday.
Yeah, I have +2 reason.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Yeah, it's your birthday, and I don't just mean that in the celebratory sense. I mean, the combination is literally your birthday. As you roll it, and the lock pops.
He probably shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, I'll take the lock off and then flip it open, and it's Marcellus Wallace's soul.
Inside, several things. There's a stack of things, and on top of it, sort of attached by the little keychain lanyard, is a USB drive that sort of dangles around as you flip the lid open. Flat there are several books by authors like Marquis de Sade. As you pick the books out, put them down, there are several sex toys beneath the books.
soon as she sees it, I'm gonna pass the pillbox back over to Audrey. You sure about this?
I'm gonna take one of the pills this time.
Understandably.
She doesn't say anything. She just.
Some of these toys look pretty run-of-the-mill standard. Some look a little acquired taste. They look like they're for mixing pleasure and pain.
That is interesting.
And shoved in between them, there's a leaflet and a stained-looking composition notebook. It seems to be missing some pages.
Kate, considering we just made it through the sex toys to get to this book, are we talking stained or?
No, it's just like it doesn't seem like quite like that. You can't really discern what it is. It doesn't seem to be like sexual in nature, but that doesn't mean that it's not bodily in nature.
What book is it?
It's a composition notebook.
Huh. That is interesting. Do I recognize like any of this stuff at all? Like that I've seen
the
before?
Marquis de Sade is a well-known author who wrote about several topics, including eroticism. You do know what a dildo looks like.
No, I mean, like, have I seen like the books or anything from like?
Not from him. They didn't come from home. And the notebook, you certainly don't recall that.
Huh.
It looks pretty worn, though.
These aren't homegrown dildos.
Free-range dildos.
Do I recognize this composition notebook? Does this look like something he had? Not the dildos. I don't care if I recognize
know
those.
exactly
Let's say you totally recognize the dildos.
I don't want to know if I do.
I will not answer the question. You do not recognize the notebook.
Well, unless anyone was going to stop him, Cormac is gonna grab the USB drive and start hunting for a computer.
There's the professor's computer.
Yep. So
No,
no one's gonna stop me.
I'm not going to let you plug that into my computer.
Well, all right. Well, where's the nearest?
You guys have laptops, right?
Not on me. No.
Storyteller, is there a computer lab in this building?
It's not really accessible here.
Okay.
But Tori, you were sighing over something?
Hold on. I'm gonna, because I assume that I have like this messenger kind of bag thing. So
Sure.
I'm gonna digger and have my laptop here.
Okay. And you hand the laptop over to Cormac.
I pop the drive in, and
Okay.
if something auto plays, it auto plays. Otherwise, I'm gonna explore the file directory instead.
Okay. While you're exploring the file directory, the rest of you, contents of the suitcase.
I'm gonna pick up the book
Okay.
and start kind of leafing through it.
Okay. Is anybody else looking through the notebook with Alex, or are
Yeah.
you just letting him do it? Okay.
No,
I'll look
definitely.
in the notebook. Yeah.
All right. So with the three of you Scooby-Dooed around Alex, you it's weird. Like the pages have been ripped out, so their excerpts are scattered. But as you flip through, you see snatches here and there of thoughts. To Audrey and Tori, this may be a little shocking. Professor Alex, the tone here reflects the paper that you read before, mixed with personal thoughts. One page says, "Her harsh tongue slithers across my chest, leaving a trail of engorged veins under my skin." She presses herself into me, and I feel the heat of soft, perfect flesh. I try to arch into it, satisfy the desire for movement. But her surprisingly strong arms push me back against the cross. Flipping a page. I saw that video online. It caught my eye among the multitude of lewd thumbnails. I remember it wasn't my usual thing, but I thought I'd give it a chance. It made me happy and whole, as if there wasn't anything ugly in me, nothing broken. I kept watching and was filled with such an intense love for myself. I cried when it was over. Feeling left soon after. I've been looking for that video ever since. Flip another page. Can't sleep. Craving doesn't seem to go away. It's driving me mad. I keep looking for new ways to get myself off, but the toys are so expensive. I've rubbed myself raw in the shower at this point. I need more. I don't even know. It's growing inside of me. I'm afraid of catching something, and it cuts off there. Do you continue to flip through the pages?
Yes.
Ditto.
Today on the bus, I saw a girl with long nails. I got hard. What the fuck is wrong with me? Flipping the page. It's weird to find somebody else's toy stash. It makes you wonder what they're into, even if you'd rather not think about it. I remember looking at that spiked dildo in awkward awe. It reminded me of an Iron Maiden, but the sharp bit's on the outside. I didn't want to. I picked it up. It made me kind of giddy examining it, like it was promising me something. And I took it. It's gross, I know, but it's mine now.
Is that one of the ones?
It is in there.
Yeah.
Flip the page. Shit. I think I might have caught something after all. I've been throwing up. But it's all this black bile. It sticks in my throat, and I keep wanting to swallow, but I can't. It just keeps making me feel full, and I can't stop think about going back. It cuts off there.
Is there Purell on the professor's desk?
There is.
We're in a pandemic.
There is. And Alex, as you reach for it, like your hand misses and hits the stainless steel hospital table as the fluorescent lights burn overhead, humming. You hear a noise from the outside. It's a wet noise.
Is everyone else here with me?
No,
Huh.
just you.
That's
And the wet noise gets closer to the door. You can see the red light leaking through the window as thin fingers push their way through the crack of the door.
Is there anything else in the room with me? There's a table, but is there
You can't
anything
tell.
I could pick up?
You can't tell because you can't look away. And as the door starts to open, these black fumes pour through the crack, as if from a decrepit city that had collapsed on itself. You feel your limbs grow weak. Heat inside of you. And then you startle as the Purell bottle bounces on the floor of Professor Jones's office.
Whoa. Yeah, I'm gonna need that.
Take as much as you need.
Yeah, I think I need to Purell my brain.
Cormac, can you make me a roll and adding your willpower to keep it together?
Oh, yay!
I'm gonna pass Alex my pillbox. You want one too?
What are they?
It's just
Drugs.
no. It's like a very low dose Valium, like a 5.
Yeah, I'll go for it. Fine. Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
10.
Cool. The rest of you hear the involuntary that comes out of of Cormac
Ah,
at the laptop.
oh.
Dude, what are you doing?
Oh. No. Oh.
You might
Cormac, I
have to,
leave it up to you if you choose to let people see what's on the laptop or not before I tell you what is on the laptop.
I'm walking over
Okay.
to him if he's
I
making.
think you're gonna need
noises.
this.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist.
Oh. I'm probably in train wreck mode as far as what I'm seeing on the screen. I don't even notice anyone else come up to see, or I don't
Okay.
even notice anyone else come up to look.
And by that time, Tori is beside you. It's not as visceral of a reaction as Cormac had, but it's not pleasant. Is anybody else rounding the table?
Does Alex still have the composition notebook, or did he drop it?
I think I still have it.
Still
in
has
the,
it.
The hand that I wasn't reaching for the Purell. With-
Okay.
At this point, it's probably tucked under his arm as he's Purelling.
Okay.
Unless you put it on the table. Okay. Tori, do you let other people come around to see this, or do you close the laptop?
Probably for like a second, depending on what's on there. I might I might close it quickly, depending on what is on there. Like,
Okay. You know what?
but
Go
they would
ahead
be able
and
to see something for sure.
go ahead and make a roll. Just make a 2d10 roll.
Okay.
Actually, add your coolness to act under pressure.
All right.
But the professor's real glad he didn't let that USB go into his computer.
That'll
Don't
ruin
wanna
your
get in
tenure
trouble
shot.
for that. Yeah.
18.
18. So yeah, you get a sense of mind that no, this should probably stop here, and you close the laptop and pull the USB drive out. You just look at Cormac and you share sort of a silent, agreed upon look for half a second that neither Alex nor Audrey should probably see the sexual photographs of Noah that were on the screen, not with the people he was with, not with the things he was doing, not the things that you saw him engaging in, not the depravity that is now burned into your brain just a little bit. You know where some of those toys went now. And they're not all pleasant.
What was it?
It was
You're gonna need a lot of Germex for that suitcase.
yeah,
A
there's
lot of Purell.
it's not good. You don't no.
Yep, I'm just gonna keep this. I took the USB drive out, right? Or
Yes.
okay, I'm gonna just like slide it in my pocket and just like I'm gonna hang on to that, and I'm just gonna put this back in my bag, and we're not gonna fucking look at my laptop again for the rest of the time because now I'm gonna have to like sterilize it, and
Gonna hand her the Purell.
I'm gonna have to reformat and make sure I wipe whatever the fuck that was off of there. Make sure it never resurfaces on a rainy day ever again. And then, like, as I'm putting it away, I'm just gonna be like, so much for fucking innocence. God damn it.
There's all right, it stands to reason that Noah has gone a bit round the bend, as they say. I honestly don't know what to make of all this. But
You mentioned your friend Lee, was it?
yeah,
Kind of seems similar in a way.
yeah, that's what's got me quite a bit concerned.
I just wonder what's going on at these parties.
Well,
The typical shit, like, sex, drugs, rock and roll,
That's what was on that laptop, right?
Some of it.
mm,
A little bit. Mostly just the one thing.
but
Storyteller, have I heard of any other faculty stories of any other students kind of falling off in a way that's a little different than the regular falling off?
Turning into aggressive sexual deviants.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll me. Let's see. Roll plus reason.
Okay. That's 10 plus 7. 17 plus 2 is 19.
You haven't heard about it. You haven't heard about students falling off this way from other teachers, but there's something about the way that he's behaving and this text that you're reading, that you read from the journal, from his essay. You'd almost swear that it's something that you've read before. Something fictional or mythological, superstition based.
What comes to mind?
It's a little hard to say, but if you were to just take like a quick stab based on that thought process, if one were to believe in such a thing, you would say that it feels like the sort of demonology that permeates through Abrahamic religions.
Oh, what was he playing on his Switch?
Animal Crossing.
I knew it.
Deviant.
Hey, Cormac, mind if I have a word with you out in the hall for a minute?
it's probably for
Regarding
the
the fact that I'm probably going to need you to now, update my antivirus on my laptop.
best. Yeah.
Please.
I tag along with Tori.
Is Audrey's kind of sitting down still?
Yeah, Audrey's just kind of still standing exactly where she was when she was reading this notebook over your shoulder. She appears to just be staring, at the suitcase-ish.
Do you want to keep reading?
Yeah.
You should probably sit down.
There's actually another page. I think it's from the same collection.
And I want to see that too.
And I'll give her the assignment.
Audrey, as you read the transcript of Noah's last assignment, roll for me plus your soul.
Oh no. 3?
3 total?
Yep. All those good rolls I had in adjacent, those are over.
As you read the text about these dying suns, an X-shaped cross that also showed up in the journal, this feminine form intimately described. You read about Noah talking about the woman of his dreams, and it's not you. You don't know who or what it is because it doesn't quite sound human. You start to think about some of the other texts that you saw in the journal as Alex flipped a little quick. Other words begin to pop into mind. You saw them for half a second in the journal, but they start filling your head. I can almost hear the rush of my own blood as her lips reach my neck. My craving for her flesh is so intense it seems physical, writhing inside of me like an animal. I'm ready to beg when her nails bite into my hip and rake their way up my sides. I cry out in ecstasy as drops of hot red liquid lubricate her fingers. She pulls back, bringing them to her mouth, tasting them. I watch as her eyes narrow maliciously, overcome with a mixture of anticipation and terror. I can't keep writing this. It's too real. These scars, and you can't remember anymore, but you can see this in your mind. You can see Noah with this ephemeral, ethereal woman taking him in, wrapping him in her arms, digging into her. You can see this happening with the decrepit city, collapsed city behind them, the dying suns overhead. The strange monolithic structure lined with glowing yellow incisions on the horizon. You can feel it looming over you, in your mind, in front of your eyes. You're going to lose 2 stability. And you feel unable to comprehend what it is that you're feeling and seeing, but you feel exposed. And you feel like the more that you're around this right now, the more exposed you are. It might be about time to just call things for the day before you fall in a bit too deep.
So, seemingly kind of all of a sudden, Audrey just snaps the composition notebook closed. I should go.
Okay. I don't know if everybody was planning on checking out that party later, but
That's later. It's like early still. I can't do this right now. I can't.
understandable.
Alex, do you still need somewhere to stay?
Yeah, I do. I was gonna volunteer to go with you anyway.
Yeah, I've got a couch and whatever. What are we gonna do with all of this shit?
Take it out of my office.
And then do what?
Can we put it at your place, Audrey?
Like, I'll take care of it. Just give it
Nowhere
here.
else to put it.
You're out in the hallway with me.
Yeah, you guys aren't here
Ow.
for this.
Ow.
Fine. Yeah, just lock it again. I don't want that stuff falling out.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, I'll put the book back in it and I'll hand the assignment back to the professor after I kind of pull it out of Audrey's closed hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys get some rest.
I should get your number, Professor, just to
Yeah, sure.
if we're all gonna be heading to the party later or something. I don't know.
Yeah, take my personal number.
Yeah, I'll just note it down on my phone.
I guess I'll look into some of this. The imagery it seems oddly familiar. The two dying suns, the X-shaped crosses. Maybe there's something I can look into while you guys are resting up.
Yeah.
Sure.
And Alex goes to, but then stops to put his hand like kind of on Audrey's back to lead her out. But he remembers that what happened last time, and he would very much like to have a usable left hand in the near future.
All right. And as you're beginning to exit, during this time, Cormac and Tori are talking in the hall.
Okay, so first, maybe not be so open about the fact that we can't call the police because, of our employer, because now Audrey is suspicious that we're working for some like druggy, trafficky people. So let's not do that anymore. And second, what the fuck are you thinking about taking them to a party tonight? Like, seriously?
Look, one way or the other, he's going to get the information he wants.
But we don't take him to a party.
Well,
What do you think they're gonna say when he decides to Hulk out on people at this party trying to get information? And I'm not bringing him. This is gonna be yours.
oh, yeah, he'll be.
Because I'm not doing it.
No, he'll be my plus one. That's not the problem there.
Good, yeah, because I'm not. This is not my burden to bear, darling. This is all you. However, clearly Noah is not what we are looking for, not what they are looking for, So I think it would be a really good idea if he was kind of... I think our attention should be focused more on another target.
Or,
Specifically a pretty blonde with boyfriend issues who is very, very much so inexperienced and innocent. Definitely way more than he is. Whatever.
Well, wouldn't it stand to reason that 2 for 1? The loose ends would be gone. Gone.
I mean, one, like, if she is definitely prime and perfect for what they're wanting.
Oh, definitely.
And will absolutely get us both off the hook on this if we can add Noah and or the twin to the mix. We maybe even could stand a promotion of sorts.
Yeah, but we ain't got Noah. All we've got is Alex. And, I mean, I'd never heard of Noah doing anything like that before. That was...
I don't really give a shit what Noah's doing so long as I have somebody to present in 3 days. We have people to present in 3 days. We just have to keep them busy for 3 days so that we can get them.
Well, if we play our cards right, the party over at Mitchell's might be the ticket to, we'll say, getting them primed, so to speak.
So long as we keep tall, dark, and stunning away from them, because, Clearly, that is, I'm sorry, I just saw that. Fuck you guys. Sorry. God, Brennan conceded my... I love you so much.
Look, I've never seen her before. I've never heard of her before, but that woman, there's something not right.
Well, you know what? I don't give a shit about her so long as she stays away from our target. Like, as long as we can present
right, but I mean,
Audrey to them, they'll be happy. We'll get our payday. Everything will be fine, and they can fucking deal with her psycho crazy shit. Like, I don't care. I'm not sleeping with her, so
well,
you're not going to sleep with her. God, please tell me you're not going to sleep with her if you come across her. Clearly, there's a problem.
I wasn't planning on it, not really.
Good.
No, but they've got a bit of an eye for artistic presentation, and I think if we could arrange the both of them for the show.
I'm already a step ahead of you. Didn't you notice already?
Well, yeah, but
That's just one. This is how I work. This is what I do.
right, you set them up, I knock them down, or vice versa. Or there was that time that we were kind of, remember how they made us we had to see who got the most in a month. That was a bit it's a bit unfair. You've got
This is
things
about when
that
the
I
office
don't.
door. This is about when the office door opens and Audrey comes zoned, walking out with Alex shortly behind her.
Hey, are you okay? Do you need...
Yeah,
Are you-
we're just gonna go.
I mean...
We're gonna go home for a bit, and then I guess we'll see you at this party tonight.
Well, how about, I could actually... I feel like, you kind of need, like, a girlfriend kind of situation. Like, not a girlfriend, but a girlfriend kind of situation right now. So, like, maybe I could come with you, and Alex, you could stay with Cormac, and we
Well,
could...
I have to drop off my stuff.
At Cormac. Cormac got a place.
Yeah,
No big deal.
I can.
No.
Yeah,
No. I told Alex he could crash with me, and like we've got
Cormac's got
a
a
bag
bed.
of sex toys to
Oh.
deal with.
If you're,
Right. I'm gonna go grab that.
if you're not comfortable having that over in your place, there, I'll be more than happy to take it off your hands.
Just get it out of my office.
Oh my god, we have it handled. Okay? I am
see?
very, very tired
all
of these
right.
discussions.
right,
It's handled.
Audrey?
We're going.
Audrey, sweetie, I've got ice cream. Lots of fucking ice cream.
I'm not fucking hungry, Tori. What is your problem with feeding me?
Well, because I asked what day it was when I asked you if you've eaten.
Whoa. Everybody, let's just.
And
Audrey, let's
girls
go.
like ice cream when bad shit's happening. I don't know.
Yeah, ice cream and Valium, apparently. I'm done. I'm out. No. I'm gone. We will see you at Mitchum's or Mitchell's or whatever the fuck his name is. I gotta lay down.
Right.
And Audrey goes.
Let's go.
Alex behind her. It's not really a party night for Audrey or Alex. Cormac or Tori, you may or may not go to this party, but the others certainly aren't joining you tonight. In fact, Alex, once you wind up back at Audrey's, Audrey goes into her room and you don't see her for the rest of the night. Listening closely, you think you hear heavy breathing, staggered breathing. It's hard to tell. You just look at your brother's suitcase sitting on the ground. Eventually, the night kicks in. You lay down on the couch, lights off, sound of the city outside. It's a faint sound of construction. A thud, thud, thud. Rhythmic as you start to drift off to sleep. Thud, thud, thud. Sounds of the city. Thud, thud, thud. And you feel your body throbbing. These base urges that your waking mind fails to comprehend. It's crawling under your skin, growing inside of you. Something wants to break free and offer you a freedom that you've never experienced. In your dream, you find yourself crawling across a rough surface, your joints cracking loudly, the ground scraping at your skin. You need something, someone to satisfy this craving inside of you. You search for it. You find what you can, and as you begin to go through it, what's left of the lucidity realizes that it seems to be reflectant of the many scraps that you read from your brother's journal. These experiences documented, and ones that you saw in a passing glimpse. The plastic bag has been over your head for several minutes now as panic starts to overtake. You see through the condensation, blurred vision, that world that was described from before. That strange, decrepit, burning world. Please make me... Actually, first question. Do you go willingly? To this experience?
No.
No. In which case, I need you to just roll me 2d10.
2d10.
Yes.
Is a 9 and a 2, so 11.
Okay. You watch it. You don't follow. Something in you wants to follow. You can hear something calling through the plastic. As you see the red light of those suns, you feel a need to go, but you won't. Your breath starts to shorten as the plastic adheres to your skin more. You feel something strange about your body. Your stomach starts to sag. Not your stomach, it's a bit lower. And this strange wetness comes from your belly button. As you pull up and hold it close to the plastic, it's sticky red and oozing blood as the vision begins to blur. And you begin to feel the sharp nails on your shoulders dig in as you snap awake in a hot sweat. With the rhythmic thud, thud, thud of the construction. You lay back down to go back to sleep, but it doesn't quite feel comfortable. It's a very dull ache in your shoulders. Laying on your back is not going to work tonight. Go to rub it out and you feel a sharp pain as you touch. Pull back and the slightest hint of blood. We're going to call it there for tonight on Cult Downfall. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you to my players for joining us for Act 1. It only goes further down from here.
Yay!
We'll let everybody introduce themselves again and tell you where you can find them. We'll go in reverse order, starting with Professor Ozymandias Jones.
Hi, I'm Brennan. I was Ozzy Jones, and they're going to post links, right?
Most likely.
There's links.
We'll now move to Cormac.
Hi, Patrick Gill, creative director at Mertlet Games. I was Cormac, the classmate. Lots of stuff going on in our neck of the woods. Just stay in touch with the Twitters and whatnot. We've got various Vampire the Masquerade shows popping off. Got some Stars Without Number. Maybe have some other things popping off here too by the time the shows. We'll see what's going on. But yeah, just stay in tune with the socials. We got you covered. Got you covered there. Bye-bye.
Over to Tori.
Hi everyone, Samantha McLarty. I was Tori Maddox, the other classmate. Yeah, there's things and stuff that I'm gonna be doing. I just socials, do the thing. There's links somewhere. Follow the socials and I will post what I'm gonna be doing. There's a lot of stuff coming up, so that's the best option. Again, bad at outros. Next.
Over to Audrey.
Hi, I'm Lex. I was Audrey. You can find me in Adjacent, which is probably airing at some point soonish. I'm not sure when this is airing, so you can also check out my Sabat Limited series, which is either about to air or airing or aired recently, one of those three options. You can, of course, always find me on all the socials and stuff as a redhead vixen, even though tonight I was more of a dirty blonde vixen. It's not permanent.
And finally, Alex.
Hey, everybody. I am Steve, also known as Storyteller Steve. I am all over this channel. Storytelling, being in games, producing. So yeah, check out the socials or the channel or the YouTube or wherever you happen to be watching this from. Yeah, thank you all for watching.
And I am your storyteller, Zachary Vaudo. That's my Twitter handle. My links are over there. You can find me on Tuesdays on ATL by night. You can find me on Adjacent by night with all of these wonderful people that I have the pleasure of playing with yet again in another capacity. And you can find me wherever tabletop games are played. Thank you for joining us. Until we fall again.